All right, here we go. Big Daddy Shinte, 916 at some other random park, which is across the street from some school. So I have my mask. Doesn't look like there's much people around, but I'm gonna do my journey. But anyway, so yeah, it's like I like seeing these parks that are across the street from these schools, but it's just so weird seeing like nobody there, right? Which makes me think about what's going to happen in a month. So, we hear that the government wants us to start school in August. They said, you got to open it up because the kids are not getting educations and stuff. And I totally agree. I really do. Yeah, you have a lot of people saying like, oh, but you know what? The teachers are in jeopardy of getting sick and stuff, right? But I mean, I get that too, right? But, it comes down to a thing where it seems like a lot of people are being careful, got to figure things out. But am I willing to risk my life on teaching kids? And the answer is yes. This is just me though. I mean, a lot of other teachers will probably get pissed at me for saying this, but here's the reason why. Okay. Now, when us as human beings deal with different things, like certain situations comes up, we learn to adapt, right? So for instance, I was in 24-hour fitness every day, just being on that bike. I was dependent on that thing. I didn't want to walk to the store, nothing, right? Got shut down, gym closed. What do? I start going out in the park, walking around, jogging, pulling my muscle, whatever, right? And then but I learned how to adapt. And then people, their businesses got shut down or restaurants, they adapt. They start doing takeout or putting seating on their patios. Or like the Denny's by my place, they have like tables on the parking lot. But they learn how to adapt. I mean, some, I get it. You lose some businesses along the way and all that stuff. And yeah, one of my friends, Cage, he was a essential worker. He passed away from COVID because he was a music therapist, and then he had to sing for the patients in a nursing home. So he did it like 9 to 4 every day. And it turns out that nursing homes were like breeding grounds for COVID. So, unfortunately he caught it and then he passed away. But what happens with this whole teaching thing, okay? Or before I get to that, it's like, a lot of the people, in charge are saying like, oh, we got to shut down. You can't go to work and all that stuff. And a lot of people are going like, wait a minute, but what about not getting paid? I mean, the unemployment thing only goes so far. But I mean, for me, I'm fortunate that I had a job. But, you can't live forever, getting paid from the government, whatever, right? So it's all about your job. So on this thing about the whole teachers closing down, so you have the unions saying like, oh yeah, we want to protect our teachers and we don't want them to die and all that stuff. Okay, that's true. I don't want to die. Apparently there's more people watching these lifestyle reset videos now, so I guess you guys don't want me to die either. But when we have these kids that aren't learning anything, because we, as teachers, they just shut school down and forced us, hey, you got to teach online. I'm like, okay, for me, I feel like I can do it, right? I'll just do some YouTube videos, put the camera up and, give assignments, great, But I'm pretty computer savvy. But a lot of people that aren't, right? So that's how that works. But What happens is if we don't go to school, that means there's a lot of kids that aren't learning at home, you know, because I know that's a lot of them, they go, oh, we don't have internet access, or oh, they don't care. Because think about so I taught in inner city for a lot of my life, and there are kids that just screw around, and you don't even know why they're in school. You're like, oh my gosh, you know, oh, so-and-so screwing around. Talk to the parents, same thing, whatever, right? There are kids that do want to learn, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a little mixture of both. But what happens is if you have kids that normally wouldn't want to work, and then you actually have them at home thinking that they're going to jump on a computer, do their work, and then, like, you know, when they do those Zoom conferences, yeah, a lot of these people, they don't want the Zoom people, the people that show their faces on Zoom because of, like, child protection, privacy or whatever, right? So they just sign up on Zoom and they're playing Xbox, right? How do I know this? A lot of these parents snitching on their kids. So I get it. They're just trying to do the bare minimum and stuff. And so a lot of these kids are not going to learn. Now, besides me going on my whole soapbox on that, I want to go back to work because I don't want to lose my job. So when you have all the teachers not going to come to work in August when school starts, right? So you have all the district who gets the funding for the kids that actually go to the schools to be able to pay the teachers, right? But if you have no students, who's going to pay for these teachers, right? So I'm in the fear that they're going to have severe budget cuts. And these aren't things where it's like they go, oh, we don't like you, so you're going to get fired or whatever. This is there's going to be no money for them to pay teachers. So who's the first to go? Hey, you know what? That guy sings singing class. He doesn't even wear a mask when he goes exercise outside. So, you know, they're talking about how, like, the virus spreads in the air and stuff. I actually have plans for what to do on that. You know, but thing is, for us to live in fear this whole time, it's going to cost us more than just, you know, our lives. I guess lives. Because, okay, let's say we shut down. I lose my job. Okay, I could barely afford to pay my rent and all that stuff, and it's because we lived in fear. So, thing is, what kind of life is that living in fear, right? So I know a lot of people who are suffering through depression and anxiety, not knowing, you know, where they're going to eat next, all that kind of stuff, and it totally sucks. The thing is, I'm willing to press it and just go for it, okay? I know my mom listens to my videos and watches, but for me, I'm willing to take that chance. You know, they're going to be like, oh, but you're just going to spread it, whatever. No, I mean, the argument now is not if the teachers give it to the kids. The argument is the kids will give it to the teachers and they're going to get sick, you know? So, yeah, it means a job. We got to do it. I'm not in a position to say, oh, yeah, you know, I could just live the rest of my life, you know, making gaming videos, right? I wish that was the case. That'd be super awesome. But what I have to offer as a teacher for the sanity of all my students that I usually get every year, be able to give them some sense of life. I teach more than music. When I teach them music, I realize not everyone's going to be like a professional musician, right? But I teach my kids perspective. So I give them, you know, like a general sense of logic, reasoning, and it helps a lot of them out, right? I'm not trying to skew them one way or the other, being one of those political, you know, people, whatever. I just tell them, look, you know, this. And that's why school is easy. But the main thing is, yeah, I'm hearing all these things that are happening, and I'm one of the people that, like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really worry about things that are outside of my world. Okay, so my world, my mom, you know, my family, you know, Harold and his family, you know, my students, teachers I work with, people who I actually talk to and I deal with, they know me by name and everything. But, you know, people who are like outside that and I have no idea who they are, you know, I got that concept of, you know, when I was jobless last year, were these people calling me and seeing how I was doing? Did they care if I was able to eat or not? No. So now when the situation's reverse, I feel bad that, you know, it's like the ones that were close to me in my time of need, those are the ones, that's my world, right? So on that whole my world thing, I'm gonna go this way because it feels all, my thing is, my world's starting to get affected because this is actually going to deal with my job, right? So I mean, I had some friends that have to deal with really gnarly stuff. And, you know, what can we do about it? I mean, it's just, we got to be able to adjust. Now, the thing is, I don't think I'm going to have that choice of whether or not to go to school or stay home. I mean, granted, for me to stay home, it's great because I save 3 hours of driving a day from not going. And then when these kids, they don't do anything, then that saves some type of work that you have to do, you know? But when I don't go to school, that means some of the parents and the teachers can't go to work, and our economy is going to do bad. Let's go this way. So that's me in a nutshell. I mean, it's not like you asked me what it's going to be like, what happens with this teacher shutdown, but you know what? Push come to shove, I get the choice. I'm going to work. Will I die? I don't know. But, you know, when I hear on the news, there's people getting car accidents, people, they're getting robbed, people, they fall, accidents, taking selfie pictures in the Grand Canyon. I mean, there's so many different ways that people die. But those ones are just misfortunes. But going out, being able to teach kids of our future so they're not going to be back another year of school, that risk is worth it to me. Oh my goodness, it feels so relaxing. I just decided to sit here and enjoy shade. Relatively hot day, and yeah, I feel great. All right, there you go, day 916 in the books. So I like this park. It wasn't as big as like the other ones, but it's big enough. And going around a couple times, there's some good shade areas, good non-shade areas, but it gave me a good time to think about all the stuff going on. So anyways, you know, I got to do what I have to do, just like you guys have to do what you have to do too, right? Now, I'm not proponing one way or the other on like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. So yes, if I had the opportunity to go back to school, yes, I'm doing it, and I told you why. So, Big Nation, day 916. if I could exercise 916 days in a row, you can exercise 916 days in a row. Because if I could do it, you could do it. And I'm doing it. If I'm faced with a situation, I'm going back. All right.